Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and my coin factory family, and welcome back once again to another daily Casper crypto live stream. And we have got a few interesting updates for today's stream regarding some recent Casper updates, equally some interesting fundamental updates in the crypto space. But the main topic of today's stream is going to be talking about Q4 for Casper and ultimately the catalyst that should be coming out in the next 3 months. The biggest one for me, which I have mentioned briefly, but I'm going to touch on more in the stream and therefore also showcase one of my alpha documents that I showcase to my VIPs, is talking about Swift, the ISO 20022 migration, and ultimately why this is such a big deal, and equally big for Casper as well, being that we have Warpcore KII, which is ISO compliant, already having done tests on Swift. It's a very, very big news. So we are, once more, early and in a strong spot. That being said, the family, of course, if you enjoy the daily content, feel free to leave a like, helps out more than you know, share with your friends, subscribe for more, and turn on that post notification bell so you do not miss out on any time that I do go live. And YouTube decides to actually notify people, because sometimes it does not seem to work. But welcome back, family, once again to the stream. We have Zied first in. Welcome back, bro. You're doing very, very well today. Kryptoni, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing very, very well as well. Octo Plus, hello to you too. Greza, good evening. Wing Hong Wimunya, no, unfortunately not, but soon enough, hopefully. Cassington, welcome back. Thank you as always, boss man. Looking forward to the next 2 months. I have been locked in a tough year this year. When do you think we will rise? End of this year or Q1? Thank you very much for the support, Cassington. I appreciate you very, very much. And yes, equally myself, I'm patiently and eagerly awaiting for the market and more importantly Casper to rally. To answer your question, I mean, understandably, I'm not a financial advisor. I've not got a crystal ball. Nobody does. But based on the current sentiment, we can do a bit of analysis on this. So we know that there are some key catalysts coming out in the foreseeable future, in the very, very few months. We're talking the release of ETFs, although ETF filings have been temporarily paused due to the government shutdown that's currently going on. We do, again, when that shutdown ends, ETF filings will start, close to being approved again by the SEC. We've got ETF filings. We also have more regulatory frameworks, likely the passing of the Clarity Act, which will pair the Genius bill, stablecoin bill, being very big as well for institutional adoption. We then also have one that I'm going to talk about in a bit more detail throughout the stream, which is the ISO 20022 Swift migration, a very, very big deal indeed, which will be significant. And bring much more recognition and adoption to blockchain and crypto as well. And then you've got, Casper updates regarding Casplex, IGRA, KRI, and that stuff. We also got the macro being rate cuts, and one big one also being the M2 money supply, which is exploding right now in accordance to Vivek's interpretation of the M2 money supply. He's projecting a plus $180,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year, basically, which I do think is possible. I mean, based on the M2 money supply, if you align it up, go on Bitcoin, load the M2 money supply, and you align it, as you please. I mean, Vivek aligned it like this more so. I probably line a bit more, I guess, leniently like here, so it puts it above 160K by the end of the year. I think that's a possibility. Now, will we continue from there? Tough to say. If you look at the M2 money supply right now, it does suggest that we're still going higher and higher and higher. So there's more liquidity still flooding into the markets. And typically after the government shutdown, the Fed are more dovish, which means more likely to inject liquidity into the markets. Now, that's the long answer. The short answer is I do think we'll be a lot higher. I do think we'll start rising in the next month or so, generally in crypto, and then once the dominance of Bitcoin falls off, you'll start seeing altcoins rally more so as well. Right now, Bitcoin dominance is starting to rally up again at 59%, almost above 60 again. This is quite I guess if you look at dominance in the same way you look at any other chart, it's quite a critical level. You've seen a lot of times with Bitcoin dominance kind of rebounded around here. I'm honestly in 2 minds. It could go higher, repeating what we saw last cycle back here. You saw it come down, then bounce back up. Equally, it could just continue going down. If you see a repeat of this here, there's no doubt the cycle goes quite deep into 2026. If it falls off, then you might see it end early Q1 Right now, my stance is that you're going to probably see the market continue rallying this fourth quarter. And then I'm going to play it very, very closely, play it by ear in December to see if institutional sentiment is correct in saying that it will continue 2026. And then we'll see if we get a final euphoria run going into Q1 2026. That is, again, the medium answer. So the short answer, to get to it finally, is I think we'll start seeing movement end of October, more significantly for some altcoins, going into November, December, and then we'll play it by ear from then. And I think a Q1 momentum is still possible. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But thank you for the support, brother. Tino Cos, welcome back. Is the dinosaur chart a real thing? No, it's a complete just joke. Don't worry about it. There is nothing to it. You saw a post from I think it was Cass Media or someone kind of just making a joke about it, saying that Casper's chart is the same as Bitcoin in the early days, where you saw this hedgehog or dinosaur, drawing it out like that, whatever it was. Love my dinosaur there; it's very cute. You can tell I'm an artist. But no, it's just it's a joke on things. Just again, it's basically trying to play fun on the fact that every single person who funds Casper is only talking about the price. They're like, oh, look at the dinosaur. That's a great TA, It's rubbish. And again, it's clowning on those who only focus about the price. While of course price is important, solely focusing on it is the main reason why I stopped talking about price action. Because again, I think it's quite a warping emotional mentality, which I think we need to try and detach as investors, because it makes it harder to know accurately how the market's going to project, because you're just thinking emotionally and then you jump the gun, Good evening, Andy A. Bro, you're doing very, very well. Wing Hong, can we hit $1 soon, please? I hope so. My strategy is to keep buying until we get Binance or Coinbase. Not a bad strategy. I don't think it's a bad strategy. Again, everyone has their own beliefs and thoughts. I think stacking Casper, for me, is something that I continue wanting to do, because I think it's got so much potential in regards to price action, and then also just with regard to its role in the monetary system going forward as well. So in that regard, then, if Casper does achieve our belief, which if it doesn't, then something is fundamentally wrong with the world as it is, which it kind of is. But if it does do that, which we think we will do, then we'll all be very, very lucky getting a Casper at currently 7.5 cents. Strategy is to keep going until $10. Also not a bad strategy. Just DCA, agreed for definitely just DCA. The traditional 4-year cycle isn't based on the halving, it's based on the macro liquidity cycle. It just so happened to coincide with the halving. This time the halving got us here with little liquidity. Yes, you're completely right. You're completely right. And that's something I did explain in a live stream, maybe 2 or 3 weeks back, something like that now, which I explained. It was basing on what Raoul Powell has said in one of his videos, where he was talking about how the typical 4-year cycle, everyone is so hell-bent and kind of adamant that we're coming to the end of the 4-year cycle, which we are. The 4-year cycle comes to an end, therefore we're going to start going through the corrective phase into the bear market. But it's because the 4-year cycle, again, as Crypto highlighted, and I've mentioned before as well, it aligned with the macro liquidity, which typically in this fourth quarter now, the liquidity is starting to go through a little bit of a turning point and starting to go a bit negative now. Normally you look at factors like the ISM PMI, which are forward-looking indicators that start printing negative results. But right now, they're printing positive results. Of course, we haven't seen the most recent one because of the government shutdown, but they have been printing reports that suggest that institutions are starting to actually invest more right now. So we're seeing indication that suggests that the economy is starting to accelerate, which does increase possibilities, therefore, that the cycle is going to extend into 2026. But again, we've got to play it by ear. Of course, don't be emotional, be logical, and keep doing research. To go around, hence poor altcoin performance. And furthermore, the end of the traditional 4-year cycle is lining up with the beginning of a macro liquidity cycle this time. Yeah, honestly, it's exciting time that I think is a good possibility. That's why I keep trying to turning up every single day, preaching and trying to teach everybody about what's happening in this space. And equally why I do have my VIP, warp.com/coin factory. We provide a lot of information in there, doing stuff like trades. Going to start providing some more altcoin picks, some meme coins. We're currently up about 80% on a meme coin pick right now, Aura, which is doing quite well. We've got in at 17 mils, about 111 last I checked. Looking through more and more stuff as well. Trade alerts, as I mentioned, the weekly live streams we do pretty much every Sunday or Monday. And equally, the most important one for me personally, I don't think it's the only thing, it's one of the big parts for me, is the alpha information. We look through documents like this one I'm going to showcase a little later on, which just deep dives into what these TradFi big corporations are talking about and what they're looking at, and what they perceive to be the biggest shift coming. That'll be the big catalyst for crypto. So we're therefore trying to get ahead of the game, learning what smart money are doing, so then we can align ourselves with it as well and look into the right projects. Aren't there too many coins nowadays for liquidity to pump anything at all? You'll see a crypto culling. There's a lot of coins, don't get me wrong, it is, and everything will pump as a result of it. But eventually, once the maturity of the markets comes to fruition, and the liquidity tokens are about, and you'll see a massive crypto culling where 99% of all the cryptos are going to go to zero. And the ones that go to zero are either going to be copycat coins, pretty much, that have no intrinsic value, or just complete trash. So most of them will be meme coins. Pump fund meme coins that have no utility, they're just there to make a quick gamble. You have some XRP knockoffs. I can't think of any names off my head right now, but you'll see assets that have kind of copied XRP design, or even Casper design, and they just fall off because they can't compete with these other assets. So just because they're a copycat but they don't offer anything unique or better, they'll fall off. So that'll happen in the future as well. Welcome back, Weather. Hope you did very, very well. But that being said, anyways, that is the questions for the time being. So let's get into the content now, first and foremost. We're going to get into the fundamental stuff first, then cycling back to Casper, and then get into the main headline for today's stream. So to start off with, we already mentioned that the M2 money supply is starting to explode, which is good news. Again, indicating that we got a lot more to go. If this is correct, 180k Bitcoin incoming, so that currently 121, 122. We got a very, very nice one from here. A lot more liquidity. That would put Bitcoin at roughly a $3.5 trillion market cap. A very, very big market cap. So I would not be against that at all if we did see that. Now, I definitely mean a lot more liquidity coming to the altcoins. And if you want to think about price for Casper, just to put it out there, where do you think Casper ranks in regards to Bitcoin? How much liquidity do you think Casper can take from Bitcoin, knowing that Bitcoin Max is also starting to look at Casper? If you think 1%, well, think about it this way. Super $5 trillion market cap, 1% of that is a 35 billion market cap. 35 billion is over $1 Casper. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm making you think, I wouldn't say logically, but think objectively. Think objectively. If you think Bitcoin can reach an $180,000 price, which is roughly a $3.5 to $4 trillion market cap, can Casper take 1% of that market cap of Bitcoins, being 35 billion? If the answer you think is it can do 1%, then that would mean over a $1 Casper. It would be 1.3, I think $1.30, give or take. Just throwing rough numbers in my head. But that is, again, something we're looking forward to, that being a big factor. And again, the cycle could go on for a lot longer from this point onwards as well. And we saw what happened after the government shutdown. Wall Street have been very bullish on Bitcoin. We saw just earlier today, Bitcoin ETFs just saw $985 million in inflows, which is insane. Happened yesterday, pushing weekly inflows to $3.24 billion, the second largest on record. So evidently, institutional sentiment is starting to ramp up once again. And even better still, the balance on exchanges is hitting an all-time low for Bitcoin. So we're seeing a supply shock, also supporting the fact we're going to see this massive divergence catch back up and Bitcoin to explode from here on out as well. We can see Bitcoin currently is down 0.36% at 121, almost $122,000. It got rejected at this all-time high, which people are maybe thinking it's going to be a fake out, hence the correction today. But for me, if we can hold above 120k by the end of the week, that will be very bullish news. I made an announcement to my VIPs yesterday talking about my thesis and what I want to see at the end of the week. And if it comes to fruition, then Bitcoin's next leg up for me is all but confirmed. And the bottom for Bitcoin has been priced in probably down here, 108k, if it does come to fruition. Ethereum down 1.13%, again, 4,464 right now. And then, of course, Casper, which is coming down a lot more today. From what I've determined, there is nothing really causing this catalyst and no causality of it besides just sellers trying to, or market makers trying to scare you out of your bags. Casper did rally up to 8 cents and was in this zone here. And then we can see it did manage to hold in the zone, then it's come out of it today. So it's again below that 8 cents again. So it's still even though it did break out of that critical level of resistance for Casper, which is about at that 8 cent, this bottom line here. You've seen it happen time and time again. It gets rejected here. It did break above that, but evidently it was a fake out breakout. It didn't properly break clean above. For it to properly insurmount something, you see Casper get rejected at 8 cents and then break above 8.3 to confirm that move up. Casper was unable to break above 8.3, hence why it came back down, and now it's come down currently 5.59% on the daily time frame. But don't take that as a reason to be emotional. Think logically again. For the most part, Casper's still in that regard, therefore, consolidating around the zone again. If we don't lose 7.4 or more so 7.1 cents down here, Casper is still for the most part just chopping sideways, and will start making that move up when the market conditions are better off for it as well. But I'm not worried about this. As you know, I'm never really worried about it. I do think Casper's time is coming, and it gives me more time to accumulate cheap Casper. But again, we've seen the institutional sentiment starting to ramp up again. Bitcoin, of course, going up. Goldman Sachs, the $3.5 trillion bank asset manager, now says they're seeing an increased institutional participation in Ethereum as well. There are currently only 2 ETFs, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So envision what's going to happen to all the altcoins effectively once ETF finance are out. Of course, the ones with ETF finance will see more capital, but the sentiment that's going to create for other assets is going to be huge. I'm talking what you're going to see end up coming towards Solana will get ETF, but think about your other assets. You know what? They won't get ETF filings. They'll still end up seeing more investment because the sentiment would have, unlocked for institutions to get into altcoins. You can see right now, there are currently 30 crypto-related ETFs filed with the SEC just yesterday afternoon. You can see them all here. You got AVE, ADA, Atom, AVAX, Bitcoin Cash, Kronos, Polkadot, so many Hyperliquid as well, so many ETFs, all these assets, which with the new policy change, or the change with crypto, with the SEC, you end up seeing a hell of a lot more accepted ETF filings. Now they've changed the way you need to find an S1 as opposed to a 19B-4. Because you're going to see a lot more in that regard. You end up seeing a lot of these filings confirmed, and as a result of that, for all these assets will start seeing institutional adoption, which means these assets are definitely going to start ramping, and therefore the sentiment around altcoins, whether you get a filing or not, will also be more bullish as well. If you get a filing, of course, you get more investment. Casper won't get one, likely. It won't get one. But the sentiment for altcoins in and of itself will be big because you're seeing more filings coming towards crypto. You can see all of this stuff here. All the ETF finance in regards to stocks as well. You're seeing an absolute explosion right now with ETF finance, especially for crypto as well. And, this is the context here from Ella here talking about, when Chad, this interviewer here, said that 2 XRP ETF was not approved by the SEC, so therefore they don't need the approval. Not exactly true. The SEC do have to approve them, so therefore no ETFs will be approved while the government shutdown's ongoing. But once the shutdown has ended, you'll likely see a flow of ETFs coming out very, very quickly. Litecoin, Solana, XRP being the main front runners, and you'll see HBAR, you'll see Polkadot, you'll see Trump Coin probably as well, Dogecoin, all get ETF balance as well, which, and again, whether they're good or not, they will increase institutional sentiment for altcoins and more capital going in, and probably also trigger Bitcoin dollars to fall off even more so and start that altcoin cycle earlier than we want. So again, it's good. It's good to see right now happening. And then for me, what's really, really important, and one of the final fundamental points before we get into the Casper news here, is this interview here from Charles Hockinson, the founder of Cardano, and someone who's also given his kudos to Tom Polinsky for the Phantom Inspector protocol. He is saying here that the utility coins will experience their own bull runs. This is what I have been preaching. While you can make money in memes or leverage, stuff that I also do in my VIP, and I still do, have been doing so. I've made most of my gains in them actually, truth be told. The so-called quote-unquote safest and best ways to make capital, not financial corporate way to do that, is with institutional investments into coins that actually will have value. So in that regard, listen very closely here to this interview from Charles Hockinson. But usually,
I want to get you to look into the crystal ball in terms of pricing. Where do you think Bitcoin is going? And link to that, where Ethereum is headed.
Yeah. So I think all the alts are going to enjoy a nice spike, but typically there's a lag. So Bitcoin goes up, it stalls, and then the alts come up, and then the market goes down, it reaches a new plateau. We sit there for a few years, and then we go up. those cycles were retail driven, and they were every 4 years. But now that we have all this institutional involvement, we have things like the Clarity Act coming, you're going to have probably another 500 million to 1 billion users entering the space as the Magnificent Seven come in and they integrate crypto into their platforms. We're already starting to see the banks come in because of the Genius Act, and these create disruptions that are unpredictable because that's a different kind of capital than these retail cycles that we have. So in terms of price, I still firmly believe that Bitcoin's probably going to peak somewhere around 250,000 sometime next year. And
sometime next year is middle of next year?
Yeah, probably about middle of next year. It just depends on the macroeconomics.
And Ethereum?
It's hard to say, but usually you see a proportionality with those types of things. So I could see another 30 to 50%, but I'm the worst trader in the world, so don't take any financial advice from me.
Now, in full disclosure, I am not completely sure of the date of when this interview took place. We're seeing Ethereum at the time at 4.3, 4.4K. So if I try to do some cross-referencing and I look at Ethereum's price and seeing when it would have been around there, 4.3, it would have been recently, at least this year. Ethereum has not surpassed 4.1K since August. So that would therefore mean that Charles Hoxton believes that Bitcoin's going to rise to 250K next year, being 2026, which again is another institutional leader, if you will, who's in the space, who's showcasing his belief that this cycle is going to extend past 2025. Again, that's not confirmation, because you could also take into account that he's trying to lie to you to get you all euphoric and then just use you as extra liquidity. Just because he's the founder of Cardano doesn't mean he trusts you or you should trust him. Doesn't mean anything. That's why you should always do your own research, so therefore you can protect your own assets. But evidently, he believes that the cycle is going to continue going based on the macro liquidity. And again, I do believe, if I'm being honest, that we'll see the cycle extend into 2026. I do believe that. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. And also, I want you, while watching this, to think objectively. I want you to learn. The biggest thing I try to teach in this community is independent thinking and research. While you may not do that, I want you to not just think, oh, Quick Crypto or Jay or Charles Hoxton or Michael Saylor or John Sobolinski said this, therefore it's going to happen. No. You listen to, oh, he said that. I'll take that into account and listen to other viewpoints. And then I'll use those multiple viewpoints to collectively think of my own opinion. That's how you learn. I didn't listen to Casper and think, oh, Casper's great because, one person told me it's great and therefore I'm going to stick with it. No, I listened to multiple different viewpoints within Casper, without Casper, and the points against Casper didn't align with me, where the points with Casper did align with me. Therefore, okay, Casper, I think it's fantastic. That's how you learn. But yes, Charles Hoxton believes that. Again, I'm not so adamant. Again, my it's crystal ball. Again, it's going to be price discovery. No one truly knows if you're going to see a 250k Bitcoin. I wouldn't be against it, but I'm also just not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. But evidently, there's a lot of sentiment saying the cycle's going to extend to 2026. We're going to see Bitcoin go a lot higher from here. That's a 2x from here, which is insane if that is the case. And then think about what that do for the altcoins. And also, by that point, DAG, Knight, VProg, all that stuff will be out for Casper by then. It'll be insane how fortunate it will be. And again, you see ETF fund come out, altcoins will go parabolic. So in that regard, I'm then going to get into the title of the stream right now, about Swift and relate to Casper, and then get into questions against some final Casper announcements as well. So, yes, if this is true, very, very bullish. And the reason also why I think it could be true, as I am not got it preloaded because, I am an idiot. I'm going to load up that Signum Bank post of mine that, again, I have showcased on stream a few times now because I made a post about it on Twitter. But that post there, I want to just highlight the catalyst they predicted to be what will cause the cycle to extend further, right? You've probably seen this 100 times now, but again, I want to draw this home to you. And again, remind you this stuff I cover to my VIP. So if you want to find out more, learn more, get ahead of the game, check out my VIP 7-day free trial or 1-month free trial with WAP. They've got a Casper campaign going on with BYDFI, not WAP, BYDFI. We are no KYC, no VPN regulated exchange. They're currently doing a Casper trading campaign. You can get $13,000 prize worth of Casper if you participate. So if you want to find out more, check it out on my free Discord server. But we can see the document here, Signum Bank, from last month or month before that, to talk about the potential catalysts that could lead to an extended cycle here. Global liquidity, we just covered that here, being a big part to that. We talk about institutional adoption progress. We're seeing that happening here now. We're seeing that sentiment going up more and more. They talk about regulations. We heard Charles Hopkinson talk about the Genius Act and the Clarity Act coming through as well soon enough. Talks about treasury companies, also be a big factor. The one it doesn't talk about here, which I think is probably the biggest one, is SWIFT. PCCB document here, again, something that I covered to my VIPs. I covered this to my VIPs, how long ago? I think it was on the 20th of September. So about 3 weeks ago now. Document here, and I've covered more about it in the past anyway. So look, summary of the document here. The Federal Reserve's shift to ISO 20022 marks progress, but SWIFT's November 2025 cutover requires CFIs to prepare now, ensuring compliance with the operations, stronger risk management, and improved customer experiences. So what is it basically saying here in a summary of this article here? It's talking about the fact that this is one of the major catalysts that is going to significantly change the financial landscape. ISO 20022 is set to set the stage for an industry-wide leap forward. After November 2025, which is quoted in here somewhere, I'm 90% sure. Yes, here you go. After November 2025, only ISO 20022 compliant messages will be accepted through SWIFT's network, which connects more than 11,000 financial institutions worldwide. After next month, we're 1 month away after the end of next month, if you are not ISO compliant as a bank, you will be left behind. You'll become obsolete, you will go bankrupt, you're gone. This is a crucial indicator that ISO compliance is the next humongous step forward. And if you're an ISO compliant asset, you'll gain a lot of favor. Swift made a post here, or he mentioned it at the Subus event. And you've got Fireblocks' CEO Michael here who summarizes it, and I do agree with him. Swift basically announced at the Subus event a week ago that they are now going to be creating their own blockchain ledger. It's a prototype. In Michael's honest opinion, there are two strategic issues with Swift's play in crypto/digital assets. One, banks remain significantly behind the vast majority of the fintechs that adopt digital assets. So this year, they have seen rapid acceleration. As a result, the vast majority of the digital asset economic activity is currently happening outside of the reach of their network, significantly undermining its value. It is unlikely for these fintechs to join Swift, but the banks will need to interact with them to bootstrap the utilization. So, banks who are currently aligned with Swift, despite Swift now making a prototype for blockchain, it's too late. I believe if you're starting to make it now, it's too late. It is too late for Swift. The banks are going to start combining with the fintech companies who are already aligned with ISO 20022. For technical, Swift's specifications are outdated for the mainstream activity with digital assets and its new market structure. The example being, you could technically browse the internet using a fax machine, but why would you do that? You could technically use fiat currency, but why would you do that when you've got digital assets? Why would you use Swift when you have stuff that's a lot more efficient, which we could argue could be Casper? Going to play this clip. This is back. It's not showing. Back 2 months ago, one of the blockchain banters on July 21st, where you heard Roy O'Neill give an update regarding the test that they were conducting with Swift. Listen very closely once again.
But we now have and have been testing the rails for Warpcore and the ISO 222 transactions. We've run the whole suite of tests from Swift. So 222 transactions. We've run the whole suite of tests from Swift. So we now have to go through the whole regulatory and compliance piece.
Of course, there's a whole regulatory and compliance hurdle that every company, every project has to go through to make sure they're aligning with the standards. But as you heard 2 months ago, 3 months ago now, that was, again, that's July. It was July 21st So actually, that's a very, very long time back. You know, that's almost 3 months now. 3 months ago, Swift were, Warpcore and KRI had conducted tests with US-2022 with Swift. So that means that with Warpcore, which again is meant to be coming out this quarter, in the next 3 months or so, you'll see them align with Swift, and they've already got and to cycle back to this again. When I said it's too late, some of you may have thought, well, maybe Casper's too late. Then you haven't got ISO out of Casper yet, so maybe Casper's too late. No, and I say no because Casper's technology isn't too late. It has only come out last cycle. It's not got the price adoption, yes, but how old is the technology really? How long? While they're still reinventing the wheel, the idea of Ghost Dag, Phantom, Spectre, 2013, 2018, 2021, I think the most recent one, I think that was Spectres. But otherwise, the idea of Ghost at the very least, that's over a decade old. It's old technology. They've been building this for a while. It only came out 3-4 years ago, Casper, but the technology behind Casper is actually decades old. They've been perfecting and fine-tuning it time and time again. So while Swift is now making a prototype, Casper, while again reinventing the wheel, they're doing more and more stuff right now. The actual fundamental foundational layer of Casper is already battle tested, and it's being proven right now. As everything that's been running on Casper right now has run very efficiently, very smoothly. 10 BPS migration was a resounding success, not a single hiccup. Do you know how incredible of a feat that is? To reinvent the wheel, to give an analogy, is like Casper at that point had done all the tests to require a theoretical rocket taking off, and they decided to actually launch that ship into space, and there was no issues. It didn't blow up. Casper launched that rocket into space, it launched 10 BPS, and it was a resounding success. They launched it into Mars. That's what Casper's doing right now, and they've got more coming out regarding VProgs, Dagnite, whatever it may be, but the point being, next month's going to be a crucial catalyst. So for Q4 catalyst, you've got, for the general space, you've got ETF filings. Once the government shutdown's over, you'll start seeing them hopefully start rolling through. You've got the M2 money supply going up higher and higher, rate cuts coming through as well. You've got the Clarity app passing through. The biggest one that people are talking about, but not, in my belief, putting enough importance on, is the ISO 2022 migration. Again, we've been talking about this in my VIP a lot. If you are compliant, which is why I do hold XRP and why I think it'll do well, because XRP is an ISO compliant asset. That's not me trying to show XRP. You can put me down if you want to. I know XRP is centralized. I know, you don't need to tell me, but XRP is ISO compliant. So I think XRP will be in a good shout of getting adoption as of that. There are many other assets that are ISO compliant. Algorand aligns with them, HBAR, Quant. Those assets seem to also be in a similar bracket. I know Zebek are trying to get ISO compliance right now, or they have got it. Double checking that, I will do so throughout the week, but I'm pretty sure they're working towards the ISO compliance, getting the audit, if you will, for it. Casper has Warpcore that makes them ISO compliant. So Casper will therefore, with the launching of Warpcore, which again is happening this quarter, probably around the launch of this, I'd like to believe, you'll see therefore Casper theoretically have the ability to connect to 11,000 financial institutions worldwide. You've got to also remember there's not going to be one winner, at least not initially. There won't be one winner. It won't just be Bitcoin or just be Casper or just be Ethereum. It won't be one. There'll be multiple winners that'll connect because everything has a different role. And then, you know, as development goes on, you might see a one that pushes forward more. So that could be Casper. But initially, you'll see XRP rally, XLM rally. You probably see IOTA rally. You'll see Quant rally, HBAR rally. You'll see, forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of it. Where is it? Sorry, lost my head. The one that BlackRock's working alongside. How have I got that one? I know it, but I just can't think of it. Ondu. Jesus. Ondu. You've got Ondu as well. You've got these real world assets that are compliant with ISO 20022 that will end up seeing investment as a result of that. Casper, for me, again, is still in that bracket thanks to their Warpcore. We've got a post here from the KRI But they basically just asked the team, is there any update regarding the compliance check? Because of course the testing's done, testing's all good. They said 100% completed, it's done. They need the compliance check. And they just said here, we will provide updates as and when it is appropriate. On numerous occasions, we have stated that we are an industry-facing organization working as a market enabler. Many projects involve corporations, and it's inappropriate to discuss publicly what we are doing. I said that myself as well. I understand that, of course. You want to hear stuff. Of course, you want to hear good stuff as well. But you understand that KRI, they have NDAs that they've signed and whatnot. They're a corporation entity, if you will, working alongside Casper, working on Casper. But they've got many projects coming out, be it Warpcore, be it ZTX, be it Gigawatt, all coming out this quarter. And you'll see more of the other ones, Asset Mint, Olive Chain, all coming out in the future as well. But Casper therefore will have a stablecoin in the energy market, have an energy market set with ZTX, and then Warpcore being ISO compliance, being able to connect to the new monetary system all on blockchain, connecting to 11,000 institutions worldwide, and having one of the best protocols in the world to run it off, being Casper. Decentralized while being extremely cheap and scalable. And very fast finality. Giving you true self-sovereignty. Do you believe, and again, the adoption may not take off immediately, but do you believe that as an institution, someone like BlackRock, whatever, has an insurmountable amount of money, do you think they're going to want to give all of their $11.5 trillion worth of wealth to Ripple on the XRP ledger and trust them with it? Or they rather put it onto Casper, which is decentralized, therefore, technically speaking, it's self-sovereignty. So actually, BlackRock would have full ownership of what they have on there. It's an open question. You can decide for yourself if you agree or not. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I'm asking you, again, to think objectively, because that's ultimately why we are holding Casper right now. Now, I'm going to get into some of the questions, and then I'll come back around to talking about Casper and some other key points. So let's get into that real quickly. That was for your dinosaur drawing. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, the dinosaur drawing, very, very key bit of technical analysis there, as you can see. Exactly why Casper is going to go to the moon. Dinosaur there. You like my legs? I'll give a... Wait. That's the feet. I'm going to move it very quickly because it looks very unprofessional. But hey, we like a laugh here and there. Wait, let's get a little eye in there as well. There you go. That's the new dinosaur. And you're welcome, brother. You got to Casper September 2023, Mr. Pumped all-time high. Thought it was a rubbish coin. Research, became a real believer, and proof of work means actual value. And now TPS is proving quickly and smart contracts. Why is it not pumping? I think the community doesn't do any favors. Well, yeah, I mean, Casper, there is an element of the community not doing us any favors. The problem is that we have belief in Casper and we preach about it, but because we are such an active community, people generally perceive us. Think about Bitcoin community; they think of us as bots because we are so active, and we're not bots. But we act like we're bots in regards to activity because we are so. You see one post about Casper, they get spammed with people because of our conviction. But that also does seem to align with bot activity. It's not bots, but it's what it looks like. The reason for the lack of price is again, it's just listings. It's listings. It's just listings, and those will come through. When you think about what's building, it will come through. But you know, it's just about being patient. You know, big is bad and starting to get frustrated. Biggest bag, I get it. Biggest bag, getting frustrated. I mean, everyone's had that. Again, I don't have advice because I'm not a financial advisor for you to do that. It's just a case of, I know your conviction is strong, Wing Hong. Oh, sorry, even Dan. Sorry, I saw the purple, so I thought it was Wing Hong there. I understand your frustrations, Dan, and I know you're convicted in Casper and you're frustrated price not moving. If it's tough, you've got to do what's right for you. I still believe Casper's going to rally. It's my biggest bag by a landslide as well. I've actually lowered my portfolio and everything else and pretty much almost holding nothing but Casper now. I've been against other things as well. I'm still dabbling in other things as well. I talk about my VIP. I've talked about, I'm going to get some other raw assets in this in-minute leg up as well. Spoke about my VIPs as well. I'm going to start publishing this week. I do think diversification can be important and key, but Casper's still my biggest bag because I think it has the most potential to do the biggest run possible. Welcome back, Double D, bro. You're doing very, very well, my man. I want 70% plus this run. Otherwise, I chose the wrong bag. We'll see, Dan. We'll see. Again, you think about it from an objective standpoint. If Bitcoin reaches that $250,000 price target, like Charles Hoxton was saying, so being there for rough. Well, if it's 250 would be a 5 trill plus market cap. 180 would be 3.5 trillion. 250, like Charles Hawkins said, if it reaches that, that's a $5 trillion Bitcoin plus. And then you've got to ask yourself, does Casper reach 1% of Bitcoin's market cap this cycle? If it's 3.5 trillion market cap, that's 35 billion over $1. If it's 5 trillion, that's a $50 billion Casper, which is just under $2. So again, it's where you think it's going to go. What happened with the list of uphold? The value of Casper is very nasty. Huge Wells does not let the value grow. They're dumping every time. I'm not sure what do you mean uphold? The list of uphold. What happened to uphold? I haven't heard anything about uphold just yet. Probably, yeah. But it is what it is. You know, it happens. I'm still not worried. I'm not sure the digital Mara, if digital Mara is saying the truth or is dumping every time. I'm not too sure what's happening with Marathon either. Again, maybe you've seen sources that I've not seen. Crypto Tech Odi, if you have them, please let me know. Publish it in the Discord server. I'll look through them. But otherwise, I'm not entirely sure what Marathon updates you're referring to. We know they had a lot. I mean, we can look at Marathon actually. Look at Marathon in regards to their report, to their quarterly reports. You can look at Marathon here. Last quarterly report. View it here. Control F Casper. So you can see Casper there. Other digital assets. So that was back of December 31st, 2024. That is the most recent one where they've changed the name for Casper to other digital assets, but they don't hold anything else besides Bitcoin. So this has to be Casper here. Just remove the name. And they are seemingly, I mean, if you look at the cost basis, I mean, they probably are holding a little less. I mean, they're holding, cost basis here was 5,624, and then it's gone up a little bit. The fair value is lower. So yeah, it looks like they're potentially holding, they've removed how much they're actually holding. They've removed the quantity of it. They're holding more Bitcoin. They remove how much they're holding of Casper, but the cost basis of this has gone up and the fair value has gone down. So everything is still holding some. I'd argue they're probably holding a little bit more while the price went down. I mean, you could do a cross-reference, I guess. This is as of June. So this is the middle of this year, I suppose. And that would have been, that's a quarterly report. Yeah, so then and then there. So if you look at December, Casper, you're looking at around here. December 31st would have been here. So, and they're looking at June. June was down here. Yeah, so they could easily hold more Casper, but the price was like half what it was from here to here. December 31st being here, so around here, and then June 30th being here. Yeah, so look, you're looking at a 4% dip from there. So they could be, I think Marathon are probably holding as much, if not more, Casper now. They just, you know, it's just the price has come down since then. And that's the trick is in the report here. I ain't selling but frustrated. Yeah, I understand that, Dan. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people in the same boat as you. People believe in Bitcoin because it's fair, not decentralized. Casper, a better version, for them and believe in it. But you've got to understand as well, Dan, Bitcoin took 17 years to get to where it's at right now. Casper is in a later stage, so it won't take nearly as long to get there. Casper's the fastest asset to reach $1 billion market cap ever. You've got to understand that Bitcoin took 17 years to reach the value it's at right now. And it's only taken 2 years. It's been 2 years since institutions finally started actually accepting Bitcoin. BlackRock launched their Bitcoin ETF in June, July 2023. It took them 2 years to get to where we're out of institutional adoption. Casper's been out for 4 years. It's its first cycle. You know? How many assets went through a similar sort of trajectory and price action in their first cycle, you know? Yeah, ISO 2022, your Warpcore, Casper, VProg, Dagnite. Yeah, we will sleep peacefully when they all come out and we see how that affects the adoption of Casper and the price as well. I can't get a lady that comes on the moon. I literally can't. I've tried. It's all good, man. What's the Clarity Act Genius Act? Clarity Act is the market structure bill. So it basically creates clear guidelines between the CFTC and the SEC and what their jurisdictions are. So what they are controlling, if it's a crypto asset security or commodity. So Casper come under the CFTC, which is better, more clarity. And the Genius Act is stablecoin bill, which you've seen more clarity for stablecoins. Circle, Tether, which they made a USAT, not USDT now because it's more compliant. Are USD stablecoin and all that stuff as well. Welcome back, Buffalo Theory, but you're doing very, very well, man. If they don't want me, maybe if I was doing XRP chat, they would. I don't know about that. XRP is the most hated community in this space. Without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, if it's ETH 2025, then yeah, we are definitely cooking, you know. Hopefully I'm a leading indicator. Hopefully you are. Do you think Casper has been suppressed by whales? Yes, 100%. It's been suppressed by market makers, by whales, by people, and that's caused a lot of people to. I mean, you even saw CG sell recently, 5% of his bag. Understandable, fair enough. You've got to do what's got to do. I have no problem people selling. Yeah, you've got to do what's going to do. It makes sense. I just haven't sold my bag because I have conviction in what I'm holding. I'm officially moderator of the Casper Insight and Casper Community Facebook page. Oh, I love that. Be up to you, Cryptony. Maybe I'll finally give you moderator of this channel as well. Just reading an opinion of that Casper is a competitor to Coinbase and Binance. Yes. Coinbase runs off ERC, Binance runs off BNB. Casper, of course, is a competitor to that. It's faster than Ethereum and faster than Binance. So launch Casper could end up tarnishing their protocols they run off. That's, again, the theory we were talking about yesterday with Mr. Miles, about how maybe that's why Binance taken so long to list the project. Because they've been talking to the devs and the team, the tech team, continuously about Casper, but you don't need to do that much research to understand that 10 BPS is perfectly fine now. It's been perfectly fine. There's no issue with it. So why are they still researching Casper unless they're trying to migrate their protocol onto Casper? When that happens, we don't know, but that makes sense to me. Also, they aren't given Casper a free or paid to list it. Eventually, though, they'll have to list it. Yeah, it's a matter of patience, definitely. Definitely a matter of patience. We've got some updates in that regard on that today as well. We'll get to very shortly. I have a theory with Binance weekly talking to Casper devs, Wolfie, for over a year. I think Miles and Tony mentioned it. I think they want Casper. Yeah, I agree. What does having rails actually mean? It means that Binance's, Wing Hong, that Binance's $14 billion 24-hour trading volume would all be flowing on top of Casper's rails. So when you look at the mining rewards that come through, when you look at Casperlytics here, and you look at how much, transactions you're seeing here, and also therefore the mining rewards, you can check for the protocol activity, you can see how much rewards are getting pushed out. If Binance is running on top of Casper, the fees generation goes up a lot higher as well, and the transaction count goes up insurmountable as well. If you have an exchange like Binance running on top of you, and Binance is still Binance in regards to the biggest exchange, you see that liquidity all conducted on top of Casper. That's in theory what it means. That's again, but that's also based on the premise that every single transaction is done on the Casper chain, which it probably would be in that point. Binance would promote the Casper chain. Maybe Nadar, who knows? No listing, no pump. Yeah, it's been tough, Millie, but I just think the listing's still coming through. Again, if these people like Charles Hockerson and the information I've been posting out about here, if the institutional sentiment is right, the stuff is going to extend following macro liquidity. Therefore, in 2026, listing's still got more time to happen. You're late, but you're still here, guys. Who welcome back, bro. You're doing very, very well. What was your price prediction? I don't do that, Twix, unfortunately. I think Casper's going to do well. That's as far as I'll make it. I think Casper can surpass all-time highs soon enough. That is as much as I'll do for price prediction, but I don't talk about price about Casper. Yeah, pretty much. There would be no better choice after Dag Knight. Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. Binance list Casper. Yeah, the belief is because they are trying to understand Casper's tech properly so they can end up shifting their protocol on top of Casper. Their BNB, the Binance on top of Casper to use Casper as the rails. Because we know 10 BPS works. Kraken does it. Mexi does it. KuCoin does it. Gate does it. Bybit, BitGet, they all have 10 BPS integrated. So it's not a matter of 10 BPS. It's something else. Yeah, definitely a matter of time. Maybe we don't, Millie. We don't know. Again, we have no confirmation of such. There would be over 2 years of talks of no listing. That would be a big shock. But at the same time, again, if this is true, we get a steady cycle, as my institutional sources suggest and Charles Hockerson believes as well, based on that macro liquidity, then the cycle will still be ongoing and we have more time therefore. Yeah, fair enough. Again, all these assets have different use cases. Quant is a good asset in regards to its seemingly its role, again, centralized. So do you, at your own discretion, trade and your own risk? But yeah, XRP is bigger, but Quant probably is better. Again, that's purely up to your incentive of it and your belief. But Quant, XRP, all ISO compliant as well. Yeah, also very, very true. Welcome back to Forever, bro. Yeah, Casper indeed doing very, very well. Holding Casper since 2023. Big up to you, as a lot of us been holding for quite some time. I think I've been holding for similar time frame as well. I've gone a little bit back here and then got a lot more. Continues to try and DCA. What's up, Art0? Jay, would you say that Cardano was early last cycle when they released smart contracts? Explain to me how Casper is early with released smart contracts. Cardano had VC backing, hence why the price rallied up a lot more off back of smart contracts. Casper did not have VC backing, so no one was to inflate the price ahead of that. Look at what Cardano did after smart contracts. Smart contracts came out, the price was inflated massively, and then came down massively after that, and it's been, it's still down, 70% from all-time highs? Just get it up real quick. Yeah, still down 70% from all-time highs, Cardano. So, smart contracts pumped up. You saw, look at this happen here. If you go a little bit closer, you're looking at this this is from July to September. So July, that's literally in 2 months, saw the price go from $1 to $3. You saw a 3x in Cardano. You saw a market cap rally from 30 to almost 100 billion in the span of in a month, basically. And that's because of VC backing, inflation of the price and whatnot, and it came down significantly. It's been down since. So to get around to the question, Casper has, while smart contracts are coming out, it's a different project. It's a different project, different way it functions. No one's going to inflate the price. And market makers who are that's their so-called role, they have been more than likely suppressing the price because they want to accumulate more, because they perceive Casper as the next big thing. Again, to give that hopium that I'm sure you're all praying or hoping for, think about, again, Nick Szabo. Got Casper on his radar now. Da Vinci Jeremy. Someone who got into Bitcoin at $1. He's not necessarily the smartest individual. I wouldn't give him his, accolades. I wouldn't give him, a golden throne like I would give Nick Szabo, but someone who got on Bitcoin at $1, he's now got a big bag of Casper. So he sees the value in it. Marathon, while they have been selling off Casper and they still got some on their balance sheet, Marathon can't make any actions or decisions without their shareholders say so. The shareholders are BlackRock, Jane Street, State Street, Vanguard, the biggest water institutions. And they said gave Marathon the go-ahead to start mining Casper opposed to Bitcoin, or alongside Bitcoin. You've got KRI launching the enterprise project that will connect to Swift. These are catalysts that won't cause immediate price actions, but it tells you institutional sentiment for Casper, while maybe lackluster right now, is there. It just takes time. So we've got some Casper updates in that regard anyway. So yeah, we can see again, community sentiments come off massively right now. Dropped below 90% for the first time in weeks, suggesting a mild cooling among retail holders. Investors appear to be showing signs of exhaustion in response to current price action, as we expect. But again, you know me, I'm not worried. I think the sentiment will come back when time is right. Even then, it's still in the high 80%, so still not bad, all things considered. We're seeing more nodes turning on right now. Also, very, very cool. Now 6 continents out of the 7 have nodes for Casper. In regards to some updates regarding the smart contracts, KF made a post here saying the curve bridge is live and operating smoothly, which, to be fair, I haven't seen any issues with it so far, apart from the fact that, again, it's a stealth team, so you don't know who's running curve actually. You just know it's been running smoothly right now. Cat bridge, which they're still waiting for their audit right now, so again, hold off if you want to see more security, more transparency, but they've had over 1.5 thousand transactions in the first 4 days of the bridge, more than 1,000 from the Casper Layer 1, KYC 22 Casper Layer 2, 100% mint requirement for onboarding has been removed. All KYC 20 projects can now onboard. I know some of them, like Kanga, are waiting for the audit to come through, or they're just going to go straight to IGRA. They haven't decided just yet. But we're seeing the bridge going quite smoothly as well. And in regards to TVL, which this is, for me, is potentially good for listings, Casper TVL grew by 200k in 12 hours. Quite impressive. That has been doing a very, very good job in that regard. And when it comes to listings, if you think about what the KEF said back in November 10th, 2024, when speaking about the potential for a Kraken listing, they said that what these tier ones look for is volume and TVL. Now, Casper, as a project, hasn't got TVL because it's a fair launch asset. But now you've got a smart contract and you've got DEX on top of Casper. They have TVLs. These can be potentially perceived as a representation of Casper's TVL. So the higher the TVL goes for here, the more and the more volume on the smart contract on the DEX on layer 2s on Casper, therefore, in a sense, that could potentially incentivize exchanges to list Casper. In saying that, we know the exchanges know Casper. Coinbase been talking to them, Binance been talking to them, Crypto.com been hinted about it, Huobi Global, OKX. These big exchanges have all seemingly got some form of connection to Casper. When they list, again, we don't know, but they will come through. They will come through. And we've seen that elusive wallet 2 again continue to stack more and more Casper as well. You can see here, look at the token address right now. Currently got 546 now, 1,000. Wallet again, stack another 4 million Casper, which is very, very interesting. Continue stacking more and more and more. Almost an Aquaman now. You saw those small ones, that's again 4 million right here. Again, coming from Gate Wallet, but beforehand you saw it come from Bybit Wallet. So again, conflicting wallets right now. And you can again just have a quick gander and see how effective this transaction was. 8 million total transacted, took 0.2 seconds and cost 0.01 Casper. So dirt cheap. Again, a testament to what Casper is. Fast finality with cheap prices. So again, a big thing that I think every smart individual, smart money, and even just us investors are looking at and perceiving this as therefore the next big thing when it takes off. A lot of people right now are under the impression that Casper is going to do nothing until next cycle now, which if the cycle does end this cycle, you may see a possibility. You see it end in the next like 2 months, but I don't think it will. Again, not crystal ball, not financial advice, but when you're looking at what people like Charles Hoskinson are saying a few months back, seeing what institutional sentiment is saying, what these smart money are saying to their enterprise clients about, we believe the cycle, at the market has adhered to the consistent 4-year cycle so far during its short history. Expectations are that we are approaching the end of the current bull cycle with the prediction for 2026. Talks about all these catalysts here we spoke about earlier. We believe, therefore, the cycle has further to go. You've heard many people talk about it. If the cycle has further to go, then Casper, those who faded Casper now, I think a lot of people who faded Casper believe the cycle come to an end. That's what I believe. And that's fine. And you may be right. Again, we haven't got crystal ball, we don't know. But if I am right, if we are right who are under the impression that it's a macro cycle, not a 4-year cycle, then therefore meaning that crypto and Casper has another 6, 9, 12 months left, then maybe they sold too early. Maybe. Because you think about another year for Casper, by that point you will see VPROGs out, Dagnite out, institutional adoption coming in full force. You will see Igor Labs out. You see stablecoins most likely by that point. You'd like to believe tier 1s will be listing Casper at that point as well. KRI have their projects out as well. Think about what will happen in a year from now. We had the whole this when you look at the cycle right now in the year time frame, this here was FOMO run of listing and a very impressive project. FOMO. This here, this year and a half has been building foundation, but the FOMO's fallen off. You saw Casplex, KEF formed here, KRI formed here. So all 3 projects, initiatives came to Casper around, this phase, this top here. And you saw the release of KRC20. You saw the release of Casplex smart contracts, the release of 10 BPS. You saw all this stuff coming out. And now you're going to be seeing in this section here, the release of Dagnite, the release of KRI projects, the release of VPROGs, Igor Lab smart contracts. You'll see probably stablecoins on board as well. You might see tier 1s as well. And again, if the cycle does extend this way, this is going to be very explosive. Very explosive. And yes, again, yes, Tony, you're right. I'll give you your mod. I think you have deserved it. I'll give you your mod. I'll do it. I'll do it this weekend. I promise you this weekend. Today or tomorrow, I'll do it. I'll give you a mod. Because I think you have been a very, very crucial part in these streams and very, very helpful. And also, I want someone to fight Mr. Miles. Mr. Miles has got too much power. But yeah, Kryptoni is referring to the fact that if you look at my free Discord community, you will see in the Casper channel up here, and you go into the pinned, you can see the Endgame series we're talking about here. So you go and join my free community, you can find this Endgame series right here, which talks about the fourth turn and talks about the macro liquidity cycle and ultimately why this stuff is going to extend further as well. It's a very informative thing. You can find all information about that stuff on my free server. And if you want to level up your game even more so and find even more picks, even more information, level up your trading game, investment game, and check out my VIP as well. 7-day free trial, or equally a 1-month free trial if you sign up to BYDFI. And follow the links in my physical server as well, which again, to highlight that, you got the links in the affiliate link here. You can see there's currently a campaign going on right now that ends on 10th of October, so in a week. And equally, you can see the steps here, which tells you how to get 1-month free trial as well. So if you want to find that stuff out again, check it out on my free server as well. And you can get a 1-month free trial to learning a lot more about what's coming to the space and ultimately so we're prepared better for what's about to come out. Dag Knight coming Q4. No, Dag Knight is, we saw from Michael Sutton. I want it from, I think I've reposted this. Hopefully it's not too far down. We saw from Casper, from Michael Sutton that they're in the next phase of going towards Dag Knight, which is great. But it's still extremely early. You'll probably see it coming out Q2, Q3, 2026. How far back have I got to go? Nope. Nope. Did I miss it? Probably. Okay. Michael Sutton. Here you go. Dag Knight. Okay, fine. Just don't work for me, I guess. There you go. No. Okay, fine. He did speak about. Oh, maybe he did DK. Sorry. No, you spoke about Dag Knight here. I'll have to search for it now. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That's why. Duh. That's the wrong one. Where's the right one? Okay, I'm going to go to Kaspa Commons because I know he did it. Sorry, should have had this preloaded. Kaspa Commons made a TLDR post about it. How long ago though? Again, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it was this long back. How long back was it? I'll ask them the question whilst I'm waiting actually. Go through big channels talked about it and hyped it up. Now they ignore it because they think our project's better. Exactly. You give them the false sense of security and now you can take over. Where's the post? Was it that far back? Was it over a week ago that Microsoft made this post? I thought it was more recent. No. I can't find it. Here it is. There you go. Yeah, so it was back on the 26th of September. Yeah, so Microsoft made some posts here in regards to research and development. Dag Knight implementation is taking shape. So it's taking shape, but it's still early doors again. This new thing. The prediction right now that we heard a while back, which I'm sure somewhere in my community is talking about, seeing Dag Knight potentially implemented by Q2, worst case Q3 2026. But again, you've got to remember they're reinventing the world and making something completely new. So if it gets delayed, it's expected. They're not following a blueprint, they're making one up. So they've got to try and learn this from scratch. So, but Dag Knight will be coming out 2026. I've noticed Casper prices and pump whenever the stream is on. Yeah, I am the anti-Casper catalyst. So, you know, we made a joke about it actually, which just scared me. The fact that when I started streaming was here. I streamed at the very, very top. It's been downhill since. Maybe I should stop streaming and the price will go up. But anyway, jokes aside, because I don't want to put that thought in people's head. If you enjoyed the stream, family, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. That can conclude today's stream. If you want to find out more about crypto and Casper, check out the free community and equally lock in even more so with the VIP, warp.com/coin factory. Check out BYDFI, no KYC, no VPN, regulated exchange, with $13,000 current campaign for getting Casper. All links available in my free Discord server, so definitely check out the free server. And yeah, big stuff coming. Swift being a big catalyst coming out next month, so don't sleep on that. And Casper again is positioned to start tapping into that as well. So while Casper may not be doing well in regards to price, everything is set in place and being set up for Casper to take its shape and take over this space and the financial system. That being said, though, again, thank you all for watching. Leave a like, definitely. You're right, Alt0. Thank you very much for tuning in. And yes, I will see you all.